That's a 1969 Zenith Space Command 600 remote. I guess technically Space Command was their remote control system and the Space Commander was the remote itself. But this is a 4-button Zenith remote. It uses a really interesting mechanical system of a striker and a chime. There are no batteries in here. We're going to open it up and fix it because it's not working right. 4 Phillips screws on the bottom. Find my note from the inside. Notes from the past. Alright. Haha. Alright, so what I had done before when I first got this, I took it apart and I wanted to see how it worked and what was wrong with it. And then I was able to find some parts. And it's been a while. So I had just made this little diagram for myself that expressed the position of the different chimes and what their bands were. So, and I guess these chimes over the years were rearranged in different versions of their Space Command to provide different functionality into different buttons. But this seemed to be pretty much a standard, at least up until a certain point, where you had the, well, like this assembly. You had a dual band, a triple band, no band, and then a single band. So this was just a note for myself. I highly recommend making road maps as you go along to repair things. It's incredibly important to organize your repairs. So this is it, basically. It's pretty darn simple, and that's what's so awesome about these remotes. This is a new assembly. The temptation, of course, is just to take the old assembly out and slide that chime into here and call it a day. What's wrong with this is this one. It's this clip that's broken. And this clip is broken too. So there are 2 clips, 2 chimes that were free floating in here, and 2 that were fine. But let's take it apart, keep going. We'll get it all apart, and then we're going to clean up the plastic. We're going to fix the assembly. Put it all back together. It'll work fine. I have a test arrangement. By the way, so this screen comes off too. That's part of the front. Let's flip it over. I'm going to save our screws up here out of frame. So that is what's left of this. This particular one, this one clip is already broken off, and that's typically what's wrong with these things. These little clips break. We have to get free here. There's a tab on the inside, each inside, and then there's a couple of tabs here and here and here and here that have to come loose so we can, or so you can probably see these little tabs that are going to be loosened up and pushed back so that we can reveal one clip is in, and then we're going to put the second one in. I'm not going to put the chime in yet. Oh boy, this has got a lot of miles on it. This chime has got a hammered back end, so this is really seeing a lot of action in its day. But you can see that these little thin wire clips hold the chime in place, and on each chime there's a little slit right there and there. And then it just fits right in between those 2 spring clips. So these 2 chimes on the left and right, outside left and right, would be channel up and channel down, I guess. Well, yep, channel down, channel up. I guess it mounts in there like this, so it's flipped over. And then these remotes also allowed you to adjust the hue control on your set. But we're going to put the old ones back and we're going to see how well this works. I'm very curious. But we still have one more clip we have to replace right here. Yeah, let's just repair this one. Clean it up, put it back together, see how it works. If it doesn't work properly, then we'll go to plan B. Now that I fully see what has to happen here, taking this, I pull back this, which is essentially a piece that looks just like this, and I'm going to get this clip here inside. Well, there we go. That's the assembly put back together. We know this is right, and why didn't we just swap the whole assembly out? Because that's not what this assignment was about. It was about doing it this way. Okay, so once again, I'm going to put this chime like this in there, like that. Alright. And then we're going to take this other chime, the single one that we've had, and we're going to put it over there. I'm going to just make sure these clips are all slide it in into the detent. Come on, detent. There we go. Once it's into the detent, it's a pretty positive feel. You know it. Alright, so this is our reference, and then this is our completed chime assembly. So we'll put this away. We're off to the side for now. And here in the remote, this is the remote housing. We're going to clean up all the fuzz and the dirt that's in here. But I also wanted to point out what's inside here. Because these things are the little strikers that shoot out and bang on the end of the chime and causes it to work in the first place. So I'm just going to push this button and this little striker is going to just kind of pop out. You got to be careful where you do it so you still have it. But that's what it is. It's like a little, I don't want to call it a bullet head, but it's like a little bullet head. And it also has engravings on it. So in this particular case, there's a single line engraved in it, and that lines up with the single banded chime. And each channel of the remote has a little striker. And this one has no engraving on it, which matches up to the chime that has no band on it, and they do just drop right out, because when they strike the chime they're actually free floating to make the resonance right. This has a triple engraving on it, matches the triple banded chime, and then one last this one rubs up against this tab. You just have to sort of work it out a little bit. Let's see if I can shoot it out. Let's see here. Yes, that works. This one has 2 lines engraved in it, and that lines up with the chime that has 2 lines engraved in it. So this is where we're going to be focusing some of our attention right now, is on this. Let's put this assembly, the chimes and their respective strikers, off to the side here. And look at this. I mean, this whole mechanism is basic, made out of nylon and sheet metal. I don't know how many clicks these remotes have in them before these plastic parts start to break, but it's nylon and plastic. So the strikers are propelled by a little finger that flicks it, and it meets somewhere up here. So this is just in its chamber, free floating effectively, hits the chime, bounces back into its housing, and the chime is allowed to resonate at its specific frequency. There are frequencies that are above our range of hearing. They're probably somewhere in the 40,000 hertz range. I just kind of wiped off some of the stuff. There was an accumulation of grease and dust and junk, but I really didn't apply lubricant to this. I don't know if it needs it, and so I didn't do it. I certainly didn't put any lubricant in these channels, because that's where the strikers fly, and they have to be free to go. Take this off. This is a it's basically just aluminum with a silk screened graphic on it, and it's nice. It's faded, but we should really get it off and then clean the whole plastic, all the plastic up on the outside. The buttons need some special care. A small jeweler's screwdriver again, and this piece is held in place by these 6 tabs that come through here. And I'm just going to start, obviously this kind of metal is prone to fatigue, so you only have 1 or 2 times you can fold these, bend them and unbend them before they just the tab will break off. The tab on this side, you have to kind of bend it a little bit more so to get it past part of the mechanism. I guess you could take the mechanism out. I just don't really want to do that. So the mechanisms are going to stay in here while we clean this up. It may come apart as an assembly. In fact, I would think that the whole thing would come apart as an assembly, but there's no reason to take it apart and no need to do so. So I'm just going to pry these tabs up, and this whole piece, this metal piece, should just push right up. Yep, it's not held in place by adhesive or anything, just those tabs. So that's the remote. I don't know, there's some funny business in here, some corrosion, so we're gonna wipe this out. Let's put the trim piece off to the side, and let's focus on the remote body itself. Alright, I changed my mind. I did take the mechanism out. It was just really dirty underneath, and as I thought it would, it all comes out as one mechanism. Yeah, if you take this mechanism out, be really careful, because I had a spring that popped off, and it took me a few minutes to find it. I was just lucky as can be. It's one of these little springs inside here popped out. I'm just so impressed. I am so impressed by what Zenith came up with. They really were an innovative company. I mean, so were others. RCA, Admiral, Sylvania, GE. But, this was pretty amazing what they accomplished. And so anyway, very impressed by this remote. It's almost worth just getting one and taking it apart just because, so you can just be in awe of this. Must be cautious. So we'll get it. I don't want to get ahead on this. I'm going to go rinse these off in the sink, scrub them a little bit. They'll be spiffy new. I'm going to take this with, and I'm going to do the same thing with soap and water to start. I don't want to use anything really any more aggressive than soap and water, and even at that I'm going to be kind of cautious with it. I'll just try it in a little spot off to the side first. But that spring, these little tiny springs are right there, so you must be careful whenever you're around here. They popped out really easily, and If I lose a spring, then it doesn't work. And I don't know that I actually need to eliminate any of this grease. Let's put this mechanism back into the housing. And oh, I see. Yeah, okay, so when you put it in and you tighten it down to the base of the housing, it puts these clips into the right position. And I'm going to confirm that by does it or does it not? It may have to be. Let's see. Okay, I'm wrong. Alright, the mechanism works now. Just snuggie up the screws. Alright, so this turned out pretty nice. Or, I suppose in English, it turned out nicely. I think that's correct. There we go. It looks alright. What we have to do is make sure that we don't need to take this trim piece off anymore, because I think we've reached the end of its life, these little metal tabs. I don't think they could stand to be opened and closed one more time. So we're going to just do that, and then we're going to address the back two, which are the hardest ones because they actually are too long. Gotta kind of force it in there. Not too hard though, gentle force, not call it persuasion. Alright, look at that. Super good. Okay, so we have everything, I think, fixed. So what are we going to do? First of all, let's put our striker units, our plungers, our magic, whatever, bullets, whatever, in here. This one goes here. Checking our little roadmap here. We have two bands. Well, here, let's do this properly. This is the way it was, like that. So we're going to take these two bands here, two bands on that chime rod. Put this one in. We're going to put this one in. Just double checking the engravings on all of them. And there we go. That's pretty good, I'd say. And we're going to put the rod unit in here. And should go in just like that. I think we had these, yeah, we had these two kind of like self-tapping screws that went in there. Alright. I think this is a successful repair. Let's take a look. Yep. Good. Yep. Alright. Okay, so they all work. Alright, here we are. Back at our test setup. These are the two remotes that we've breathed new life into. And this is the Space Command 400 chassis. It's part of that same 1962 black and white Zenith set. just some of the parts from it. You can see the tuner is a Space Command tuner. This mechanism here is what selects the channels. These little tabs are either rotated horizontally or vertically to assign a stop position. So what you do is you would have stops assigned in your area, channel 2, channel 5, channel 11, and it would just cycle through them until it found those tabs. I think we're using channel 4 right now for our tests. And then on this side of the tuner is the, well, when it's on, you can see there, you would see the channel number projected in the window there. And then this is the Space Command chassis. So right now this pilot light is on, which would be this thing over here. This is the cabinet for this set, and this is the microphone screen anyway for the Space Command system. And then that pilot light we just looked at would glow red. It would glow, and then you know that it's in remote mode right now. And then if you just go up and take a glance at our panel, channel up and channel down buttons would be right here. You don't have a mechanical tuner, but you have a mechanical fine-tuning mechanism there. And then here you have volume and on-off, pull on, push in for off, and then your bass and treble controls. And so what we have here, I took the button mechanism out. So this is the channel up and down button mechanism. There are some plastic pieces that go into that panel we just looked at. So this is your manual, well, your motorized channel change. Of course, doesn't really do us much good. Not really anymore. And it's being fed by the ATSC, the digital tuner box. So the chassis are on in standby mode. That's it. So we see that it's true because we have a glow. You can see the rectifier tube glowing. And over here on our kilowatt meter, our line voltage today is 124 volts, a little bit on the high side. And it's just lumbering along, just the remote chassis at 46.6 watts. So that's what it takes to keep this baby idling in your home when you're not watching TV. So let's just take one of our, I think I may have, this works also, but I may have to change one of the chimes. Let's start with this one. Beautiful remote. So we have our channel down, on, off, and volume step, our mute, and our channel up. So let's start by turning the set on. Here we go. And when that goes on, we'll see the pilot light over here light up. So here we go. You saw the relay mechanism change. Pilot light comes on, and here we have channel 4 showing prominently in the window. We're just waiting for the set to warm up. You can see it's glowing.
A couple of words as well.
We have
you heard Steve Sands
vertical with our neon, and then we have television.
Hey, that's what makes the Ryder Cup the Ryder Cup.
Oh, yeah, you got to be spirited. You know, this is all about patriotism. And,
So we're gonna go back here to our remote system. This is channel down, and I'm gonna go channel up on this.
Was that for you, considering all the things you've done in your young career? Thanks.
All right, so that's how that works.
And hopefully we
have our
light and we can build off this session.
our buttons here. One must be careful. I think there's full voltage in there, but
what's it like playing with this guy out here in this atmosphere?
do it like this, it's safer.
He's patty ice for a reason.
So I'm going to hit the button again. You'll see how this works.
Patrick Hatgate has wearing the hat this week.
Go the other direction.
Just doesn't fit, so
Channel 4.
that's really all it is.
So that's how that works.
Sam Burns a little bit earlier about
And
roughing him up a little bit about his mullet. They got on you a little bit about the hat as
these are the relays that control these functions. So this is channel one way, and this is channel the other way. So these two buttons here, lower and higher, activates those two relays. And then we have a mute function. I'm going to hit that. Look at this mute switch. This is a really cool mechanism. We looked at it earlier. It essentially is just a toggle on and off, but look at how it works. It's a mechanical device. So all this does is the relay just goes, pulses, activates and releases, and this little plunger and a switch, a toggle switch, is what controls the mute function. And then the last function is this on-off step volume. So let me mute this so you can hear me. And I'm going to hit the volume. Well, no. I'm going to turn the sound back on. I'm going to step the volume. One step, two steps, and then off. So the TV set's now turned off. And if we turn the chassis around, the remote chassis, so we can see the tube. We'll turn this on. And still pretty much warmed up, so there we go.
The PGA Tour Superstore.
If you want to talk change,
Yeah, why do we have that noise, I wonder?
to each of us.
Huh. Alright, something else to look at. That's just the RF signal. There's noise from the RF. Alright, so I'll hit it again. Volume step up 1. Volume step up 2. I believe this is off. Yep. So that's how that on-off volume step works. Seems kind of weird and funky, but obviously it worked all right for people over the years. So there we go. That's it. 1962 Zenith black and white console with Space Command 400 remote system. The chassis over here on the set is a 16H28Q, and the Q is the designation for Space Command. So there we are. I am so excited about this. This really was a fun one. I'll bet you're wondering if you're seeing double. But you're not. You're actually looking at a pair of Zenith Space Command 600 remotes.